Uh, these are words from the wise who knew workers and bosses. Understood before you took wins, you took losses. Hyundais and Mazdas before the Benz and Porsches. Learned you gotta play your hand, you can't forfeit. We think money, we don't think madness. We uplifting folks, we don't bring sadness. Heavy with the gems on the ring status. This is more than top shelf, this is king status.
Mic check, 1, 2. Welcome back to the one and only King Status Podcast with me, your host, Mr. Mortar King. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. King Status Podcast, where the status quo is reaching self-highness. And don't forget, we got merch now. Go in there, support. If you want to show love, go in there, support. And as y'all can see, got the recurring guests. Last week, y'all showed love on the last episode and had to bring him back on. Derrick Brown, y'all, D Breezy Cuts. What's up, bro?
Oh, bro.
How you feeling today?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah.
Good.
I about to say, if you want to pull the mic up as long, yeah, you get lifted and then
You see it all right there?
I about to say,
All right.
yeah, you good. But and you know, we ain't got to cut nothing now. Everything authentic over here. So, but how you feeling, bro? Huh?
I'm feeling good, man. Good, man. This holiday was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just me, my wife, and son stayed in the house. Just enjoy the day off.
Right, because sometimes, like I said, when them intimate family moments, like they become the most important. Like with all that,
Definitely.
But as long as y'all had a good holiday, and then I was like, mine was pretty good. Had one, went to the mother-in-law's house, but she right down the street, so. And that's where we was at. We just spent our time. So I did all that when I was telling you washing the dog and all that. I was like, even though he needed it and all that, but it was still like nobody ended up coming to the crib. So it was like, it was cool, but a good holiday. I didn't get to make it to hoop, but
Mine was good, man. It was good. I needed that. It was a lot of young dudes there.
Mhm.
I don't really like hooping with young guys overall, but every now and then you need that competitive challenge, and I stood my ground. So I mean, like I had 3-4 buckets in the game against them. So
I mean,
cool with that.
everything, man. And I feel like as we get older, I, I feel like if I could do that type of stuff with him, I feel good about myself. And
Exactly. Like
and
I could still compete.
Yeah,
With guys, with younger dudes, with younger men.
yeah, and it's not even about like kicking their ass or it's just still able to do it like how I say all the time. I'm like, yo, I want to hoop till I literally can't anymore. I was like, so and we be seeing like we be out there, be 62-year-old like out there and putting in work too, like actually putting in the work, like
Mr. B.
Yep.
Mr. B is 64 years old.
Oh, 64.
And what is I think it's the other guy named B. Yeah,
Mm.
B is 62, and we call the other one Mr. B.
Mm.
He's 64. He don't want to be shooting the little sky hook.
Oh, all right. I mean, it doesn't matter because it's still like
Just the cat.
because he's still out there running. I'm like,
Out there, like I told him, I said, man, I look up to y'all.
Mhm.
Like, the fact that y'all just out here.
yeah, because again, it's especially like when I used to work at a casino, and I would see all the old folks, and that's one of them things. Like a lot of them they got walkers and all that, and you see me coming by, jumping down the steps. Like at the time, like early 20s, so I was like jumping down the steps, but it still made me appreciate my youth because I was like, yo, sometimes like you can take for granted just being able to get up, walk, and run.
Listen, man. Couple of my homies, I don't mean to put y'all out there. Well, I ain't gonna say their names, of course, but I got a couple of homies is like been struggling with like, they back and neck and you know what I mean? Like you have to get active. You have to stay active because the longer you aren't active, it becomes harder to get at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's even when you're young.
If you 30, I don't know, say you're 35 years old and you haven't done anything athletically or no cardio since you was in your 20s, say in the last 10 years, you just let all of that go. It's like, and then if you just try to do it, randomly, like, you're probably going to be winded and
you're going
unable to do it.
Because like I said, the first time when I came to the gym and y'all was hooping, you was like, you getting on? I'm literally like,
Yeah, I'm
I was already to see the pace of the game, and I was like, there's no way I could do that now without looking like a complete scrub. Like at the time, because I didn't shoot a basketball, I didn't do anything since like the working out. It was just like, so I was like, I'll get on when I'm ready. I'm get on when I'm ready.
It's crazy that you got back into it, like, because I could. By the time you started playing, I couldn't tell.
Oh, because it was still like, and I'm still trying to gain the skill back. That's why even when you said the one move I tried to do and I lost it, I was like, it's those moments where I'm like,
He had me.
It was those.
Damn, if he had me on that move.
Yeah, it's those moments again where I'm like, yo, I gotta really get back to like the skill part now instead of just the working out part. It's like, all right, I gotta actually get the skill back, but just still being effective. Like when y'all compliment me on my rebound and all, I'm like, yo, everything helps. Like, cause sometimes with anything on defense is you're gonna need them in them clutch moments, and I learned that a lot playing like hooping, like over the years. Like it's them crunch time moments.
Rebounding is
Yeah.
like, of course it's scoring, but then it's like rebounding might be the like second and most important thing in basketball.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're still starting Fit Over 40 and all that, and I wanted to go back into like just us, like not even just just definitely as men, because we're talking about it and we're saying like at any age it can happen. Like as a man, like you could be in your mid-20s, but if you take that 10-year hiatus and all, and then like how we also was talking about like just the health of it all, because this is the first episode I'm doing since I went to the hospital at that time. So it was even in that moment where I'm like, yo, I'm healthy. I've been working on everything like that. So I haven't been sick in a while since doing that, but just still even being laid up in there, I'm like, man, there's people like my age, like younger or just around the same age that had strokes, like literally had strokes. My cousin had a stroke. I'm 36. And I'm like, and he had a pretty bad one. Like, and again, so can you elaborate? Because I definitely think you're more knowledgeable in this space of like just men's health and all that. Because I've been meaning to ask you, like when I seen you take like certain supplements and all, I was like, so why again is that so important? Why do you think that's very important for us? Just definitely as men, so to speak. Because for anybody, but for men.
I mean, you have to take your health serious, and this is more than just going to the physician.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do your own research, learn the human anatomy, and just really, take care of yourself. Like you can listen to the doctor. Doctors are usually going to just advise you or just tell you what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, well, we could put you on this med to help it. And it's like, that's personally, that's not, something not my preference to take meds. I would do something more natural. But to get back to the question, you have to take your health serious. Just simply because if you don't, there will be consequences. There's diabetes, heart failure, high blood pressure, like all of that. Like I'm pretty sure that we're leading far as like races, among races, we're leading in those we're leading far as
Like
heart failure,
diabetes.
yeah, like
Unfortunately. Yeah, I know they say like heart disease is like the number one, like, but that's like anybody.
Yeah, that's anybody.
So
if you look up, it's black people are suffering the most.
Yeah. And I'm still one to
Black
definitely
men.
yeah. Because do you think it's the stress on top of it?
Definitely environment. It's not just, choices. No, it's not just diet. It's definitely environment. The environments that we come from are stressful. You know, it's just having to think about your safety on a daily basis.
Right.
And right off,
Mm-hmm.
it's stressful. At the old shop, that was something that I was concerned with. Like on a daily basis, every night I would come out of there, I'm like having to look around, make sure, I'm safe.
Yeah, because one of the times at the old shops, like, because anytime I will be around there, it's usually quiet. But you were telling me, nah, like over the summer, you was like it was shootouts right outside, like right on the block, and like they was letting it go.
So when you from that type of environment, like when you have to think about things like that every day, it eats away, and stress causes disease. You know what I mean? Stress causes the body to not function properly.
Right.
So you have to take care of yourself. You got to find a way to, you have to find a release as a man. You should find a release to something that you like that you could, get with another group of guys or whatever. Just something that you enjoy and gives you, some cardio exercise.
Yeah.
So
That's why playing basketball was like the most natural thing, because it's like, yeah, like since
something you like.
yeah, since a teenager, it's something I always did, it's something I like, and it was just like the environment of it, like, all right, I can let out the competitiveness too of it, like just, but the cardio of it, because again,
Everybody needs an outlet.
yeah, because again, when you hooping, it's a lot of things you're not really thinking about. You playing defense, you like essentially squatting, like you're jumping, you running back and forth, like then still trying to score, do moves, everything. Like
It's a full body workout.
Right.
If you're out there challenging yourself,
Yeah.
and not cheating the games.
Well, I guess it was just easier talking to you, because I know like you definitely do it. Like King of Euro step, man. He going pull a few Euro steps. And I'm one of them. I always say I can only Euro step off impulse. I can't think, oh, I'm gonna hit him with a Euro step. I can't do that. I was like, because then I'm gonna be, oh, it's probably gonna be a travel, like for real.
Yeah.
But and those outlets, because again, I'm gonna always say, and this is not nothing against anybody, like a black woman or saying any less, but I always say these are the reasons why I like just to have peace and like make sure my experience with everybody is cool. And because as black men, I say, like, when you step outside, the world's against you, like as a black man, because again, like we have to worry about, in particular, we gotta worry about the police, we gotta worry about women, all races, in a way, if they're just trying to, because things like the Central Park Five, the accusations,
Oh yeah.
things like that happen not too far out of my lineage, like 2 generations that happened, and they tried to give him life for something like for completely he did not do, wasn't even there, not even close. And it's
Listen, bro. I'm from a neighborhood in Philly that is, well, at least when I grew up there, it was considered to be like one of the more prestigious neighborhoods in the city. Mount Airy, West Oak Lane. Like they would say, oh, people would joke around, y'all got lawns and stuff. Like people from down north, west out there, like they would make jokes about it, and it's like, okay, even still coming from one of the better neighborhoods in the city, I still experienced, I was robbed at gunpoint 3 times
dang,
before the age of 21.
wow.
And it's crazy how we normalize that. Like, I'm sure it's, a bunch of guys that it probably happened to more. I was stopped by the police, and like search my vehicle. We normalize a lot of these, just situations that happen to us, you know what I mean? Because it is considered normal in the hood to get stuck up or just, you know, be in the middle and have to run for your life because people are shooting.
Yeah.
I've experienced all of that.
Yeah.
I've experienced literally gunfights. I mean, it was a shootout in front of my shop, but I experienced all of those things just being a kid who I never been in trouble, I never been arrested, none of that, but I still experience traumatic, you know, things,
Because
situations.
that was one of the other things I was going to add to the list. Like, because then we go outside our home, people are against us, like other men. Like, we got to watch out for each other, and it's just sad because we're watching out. Like, we got to watch out for racist people, like and anything with. So it's just like with us, it's always it just feels like survival. That's why I always say, like, I don't take my prayers for granted because my prayers is always that me and my family always make it home. And when I do, I'm like, I don't take days like that for granted because I know people who didn't, who don't, and it's an everyday thing. Like even recently, did you hear about when the older couple, it was a murder suicide, and they came home from the market and their neighbor killed them and then shot herself. It's literally right down the street from me, like literally a straight drive. It's like, and it only take like I could get there probably like a minute and a half just running. Like and it was like down the street, and I live in a fairly decent area like that, like in Uptown. Like, well, Uptown is pretty like decent, like definitely depend on like some of the blocks you're on, but for the most part, from where I was the first time, I was like I was in the trenches. So like and so now it's cool. Like it's cool for the most part. So you get those sometimes like, yo, you hear some shots over here and there, but it's not like a everyday thing, is what I'm saying. So, but it's still that like, man, we gotta walk out the door and think about that. But so what does that do to a young man? Like what would you say that did to you? Like just that type of experience.
And I didn't realize what it did. I just, you know, thought it was, you know, just part of the life experience. And unfortunately it is, you know, for some of us. But, you know, just going to therapy, like my therapist at the time explained to me like, yo, you experience like that's traumatic. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
To be stuck up at gunpoint.
Yeah.
3 times
Yeah.
before you were even an
And
adult.
yeah, I'm about to say, and like basically as a kid, like
It's like, you know, I remember the first time I was like 12 years old. 12 years old.
and the sad thing
Walking
is,
home from Checkers.
and the sad thing is because that's a lot of stories out here, like with people just like, and you know it, and it's we're set from a hungry environment, but they turned us into like, you know, they look at us like animals because that's what they turned a lot of us into. So it's like when you take away the resources, the lack of resources, what you put in the food, like what like, cause I even seen, this was a white dude I seen on TikTok, and he really went to like a Save-A-Lot in the Philadelphia area, and said, hey, if things say this, like I forgot, it's some bio something, and he was like, and he picked up so many different things. I'm talking like from like flour to a candy bar to a like just something else, just any random thing, and they all had it, and it was like yo, and yeah, and you think it doesn't do anything to an environment, so of course,
It's all poison.
yeah. Because again, with the supplements you take, wouldn't you say you walk around better than when you eating junk?
Listen,
I know I do.
I try to tell people, you really are like the saying you are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't a myth. I think some people believe that, like they think that some people are just lucky or it's, oh, because you work out. Like, no, like you could work out and depending on your genetics, you know, how strong or cut up you'll get or whatever. But if you aren't eating the correct things, you're still going to suffer, you know, from blood pressure, all high blood pressure, which leads to strokes and all that. Like you have to eat.
And to be real, it's other people I see in the gym or that I know go to the gym, and they'll be on the treadmill or something forever. They'll do all that cardio and still having such a hard time. And then like they'll say, "Yo, I gotta change my eating habits still." And I was like, "Yo, it like all that working out, yeah, it'll probably help you just be a little more conditioned. Like if you gotta run, you might be."
Bro, I don't work out a lot. A lot. I only work out. I mean, not including basketball twice a week. I only work out like twice.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? 2 to 3 times, depending on the week. So like that's not a lot considered. There's people that are in the gym 5, 6, or every day.
Yeah,
You know,
for hours
like,
too.
yeah. So I don't work out a lot, but I eat pretty clean. You know, I would say 80% of the time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to get better with it, but like 80% of the time I eat pretty clean, and then I'll eat some BS, a cheesesteak or some pizza or something every now and then.
But sometimes like, yo, you about to run this off, like for real, and then like still, because then even with the working out part and the metabolism, so you're still gonna burn that off pretty well. Like I know as we get older, it's not as easy, but I'd started learning that hey, it depends on the effort you put. Once I started really with the sugary drinks and just like water, that's when I really started seeing like it dropped. But nah, like after being sick though, I literally was like, yeah, I gotta put some weight back on now. I said I feel too skinny. Like I dropped out a lot.
No, man. It's see one thing, and I think with black men, we have this thing where like a lot of dudes like don't want to be under 200 pounds. I don't know what it is. It's like they feel less masculine if you like less than 200 pounds. I mean, I got homies where I know some of my clients, they like, yeah, I don't want to get too much. Like I'll get down to 195, and I'm like, bro, you 5'8".
Right, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You feel hey, you need to get down to like 175.
I was about
You
to
know,
say
like
I was about to say maybe even 160.
it's about it's about body mass, your body fat percentage. Like you don't want to, your body is working harder. So if I'm about 185, right?
Mhm.
So if I picked up two, I don't know, 20-pound dumbbells and just put them on my shoulders, right? That's me walking around 225 now. If I was 225, I'm sure people wouldn't say, "Oh, he's fat," or
Yeah,
"He ain't really,"
right,
or he husky.
right.
And it would be like, "Yo, like your body,
But your knees gonna be saying something.
my
Yeah.
fat."
Mm.
Like, and it's distributed all over for the
Mhm.
most part. Well, depending on your genetics,
Yeah.
a lot of men carry belly fat.
Mhm.
It'd be all here and like their arms and legs and skinny. But so it's just not good to me, to have to work. Your body is working hard when you're overweight. You know what I mean? I say that respectfully because I know it's hard. It's harder for some than it is, for others to lose weight. But
Right.
you have to you have to try and give it your best foot forward because your life depends on it.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
Literally. And that's because I'm one of them. I was like, man, I went to the doctor. They told they told me his blood pressure a little high. That's when I started working. That's one of the reasons why I started working out. I say, yo, they're just not even.
And a lot of that's environment too,
Mhm.
like stress.
Yeah. And going back to the hospital, like because I didn't really speak on it yet, and I'm just like just sitting there. It definitely helped me. It definitely gave me to stop being so hard on myself because it's like you could be doing all this, doing all that, and just something come out of the blue, and you don't know if that could be your moment of your time. Like I said, I never had to go to the ER. I never been like rushed to the hospital or anything like that. So God forbid, knock on wood, it never happens again. But it was just like one of them like the moments I'm just sitting there like yeah, like maybe I should just start taking the time to really pay attention to what's going on and stop learning to be so. And that was just part of my upbringing too. Like I like just you just I just became so focused on like just responsibilities that sometimes it's hard to maneuver really having a life. That's why I said like just the hooping part or just coming to the shop was just it helped me get back in an environment like just to do what do you like to do? What like who
Trying to take
what
care of yourself.
yeah, like how can you exactly. What does your self-care look like? And it's been so like I've been so out of it that I'm like, I didn't even remember. Like it got to that point, like, I don't even remember. All I could really think of is like get a haircut, work out. Like those are the things I just felt like all like that can easily put me back in like a mode where it's like, the look good, you feel good thing. Like, but then the working out when you feel good too, then it's even better. Like
Right.
like on the inside internally.
It's about how you feel. It's
Mm.
not. It's not. I think a lot of people when you first start to work out, it's like a look thing. Like you start seeing cut and you flexing and all that. But then if you really stay with it and the diet part as well, because that's important. It goes hand in hand. If you stay with it, you'll feel a change, physically, mentally, and you'll be a fool to go back to your old ways.
But it's already hard for me because the basketball aspect of it, like the hooping part, I'm like, oh, now that I know, because like I said, again, it's not even about anything else or the skill level. It was just when I realized my jumping ability again, that's what made me happy because I was like, yo, if there was anything I thought I would never get back, it was just being able to like really leap. I was like,
She's a jumping ass dude. This motherfucker.
yeah. It's coming from. It's some big bodies. I'm like, I'm not about to sit.
Always crash from like the 3-point line. So it's never like I'm boxing you out. He be coming from. I'm like, I don't know where he came from. But
It's people like Shaq that be on there. I'm like, I'm not about to try to
like you be crashing.
like I like because when I think about it like that, I'm like, yo, I have to just beat everybody to it because I'm like, yo, it's big bodies out there. Pause like where I'm like, yo, if they anytime like Shaq switch over me or something, I just grab him. Like he wanted to do, so I just grab him. I'm like, bro, I'm not about to set myself up. I don't care how old you are. It's like that's a complete size difference.
Shaq is a big dude.
But
6'8".
but going back to the self-care aspect of it, like what are some things you do for your self-care as a man?
Let's see. Of course, work out. I like to do that as much as possible. Or just take care of myself, man. Eating properly, that's part of my self-care. Um, I'm trying to do more, things so for myself, or as get my feet done and massage and all of that stuff. Like I definitely need to take more time because that helps out, especially with what I do.
What about
Standing on my feet.
what about the clothes? That's a nice jacket.
Self-care. Listen, man, I'm a shopper. Like I like nice stuff, but I find my bargains. Like I'm not like a huge spender. Like I'm not that spend $500,000 on a piece of clothing. For the most part,
Yeah.
your couple pieces.
Yeah, sometimes like sometimes, but then how you the upkeep of it. Like it's some things. It's like they go back in the box or back in the bag. That's back in the box and back on the shelf. Like just because I'm definitely one of them. I'm not one to say, oh, I had this type of money or I had this type of money before or something or I've been here and did that and nothing to show for it. I'm not one of them. So that's why even even with like podcasting, it's like even some of the conversations, it's like, nah, I want to get this. So at least if it ever wasn't on a file on my laptop or no more, at least I know I put it out somewhere where I can find it and it's out there. I can always hear it back. And because that's just what I think about with my with art and everything. Shout out to my boy Rocky Light. It's one of those I'm one of those I want to put everything out there just to say I didn't leave anything behind.
Yeah.
I was able to give what I feel like I could give, or just from my artistic view, and this is part of that.
For sure. This is self-care.
Mhm.
This is self-care for me. This is something I've been wanting to do for a minute, and I know we talked about it in the past, and just being creative,
Right.
being able to express yourself. Like this is part of self-care. Like
Mhm.
this is not about money, at least not for me. You know, if things blow.
Yeah, and there's always, of course, nothing wrong with that side.
It's just like you said, the art side of it, like
Mhm.
being creative. Like I see how you set everything up. Like you get in your zone. Like it's like you're good at this, bro. Like
Appreciate it.
I just want you to know I see you. Like my wife is like, yo, he's good. Like I like the way he introduced the podcast. Like he's good at it.
Because it's a lot of things, and that part in particular, because I'm one of those too. Even like just an experience, life experience. I say anytime I meet somebody that I feel like is worth like definitely a conversation, or me personally who I'm going to remember, I always try to think, what can I do to make them remember me though? Like how will they, when they see me, they'll always remember who I am. Like even if they don't remember a name or something, they just see me again and like, yo, I know you from somewhere, or I seen you before. And I think that's important. Again, going back to I'm one of those, I just want to, anybody that has an experience with me, I want it to always be like a positive thing. Like no matter what, in years down the line, it's like, yo, when he did this, he helped me out. He said, or we did this, we built this and all. Like, so even when the last episode got over 100, and I was over here like, yo, that's dope, because I told you before, I don't watch it back. I'm not one of the ones. I only watch it back once to get the clips, and after that, like I'm not. So I know I'm not the one. Yeah, I'm watching this every day. I'm just like it's one of those.
No, yeah.
So when things pick
Like
up,
so crazy.
yeah, like and 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 definitely so that's why, again, with the way I introduced the show, like the intro and all that, because I'm like, yo, it's times I looked at a podcast just to look at them, and I'm like, yo, it's like 5 people on the show, and it started out like the first 7 minutes, everybody's looking at their phone. I'm like, yo, you didn't make me feel welcome. Like I want to make you feel like, yo, you're in the room, like you part of the conversation. Like, yo, that's why sometimes even when people are here, like, or they're in the background, I'll still say things to people in the back, because sometimes that's one of those things that also let me know how the show is going at the same time. Like when you got like a little live audience, it's like, okay, I know, all right, we hitting something, like this conversation is good, because when you see people in the back or they want to engage, I'm like, but I'm one of those because, again, I I feel like I salute people who can podcast by themselves. I only got a few episodes where I did it myself, but I say, man, to me, it's still hard to talk passionately, get in front of the camera by myself and just like set it up and like really talk passionately. So that's why
You gotta be like, that's like acting.
yeah, exactly.
You
So
gotta be able to act a little bit.
yeah, so that's why it's easier for me. I can talk more passionately when it's a conversation. So and so I definitely believe this is healthy for us as men, period. Like what are some other things you think we should start doing? And not, like I said, not just us in particular, like just men help, like where we can still build like a community of like just people like us, like-mindedness, if there's a way, or like what do you think are some steps people can take?
Um, I believe in the law of attraction, bro. Seriously, and I think that if you work on yourself, like really wholeheartedly, like work on yourself and hold yourself accountable, just try to be better every day, and just continuously growing in every, area of your life, I think you will attract, like-minded people. And once you attract that, like, I mean, y'all could accomplish anything because that energy is so positive, like, and y'all just gonna keep attracting more.
And on that point, because I super agree with you, because I'm gonna just use me as an example because this happened last night too. Because last night was one of the first times, like me, my one of my best friends from Jersey, my brothers, and like their friends, like we all went out, like just like let's like we had it planned the beginning of like November, and we say, how about like the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we all go kick it, and then like I picked cigar code and all because I was like, if you want the option to go in the club, but I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna have a cigar and chill. Like, um, but all I'm gonna say is like to your point, definitely one of the things I've been saying a lot is talking about that attraction of I'm like and in prayers like more owners and CEOs and all that. And you started, and I think, and you started it off. Like you one of the people that started off. I was like, I don't want to just like because my homie Rocky Light, he has his own studio, but I was like, let me talk to the other people in the community that not just music, like other things that are going on that we know other people may do, like a barber and like a filmmaker, anything. But I'm telling you, actually, then, so I met another owner. I won't necessarily. All right, I'm gonna just say I met an owner the night before I got sick and went to the hospital.
Okay.
Met another owner of the one of the establishments I was in, and then the establishment I was in last night, met the owner there too. So of course, hey man, like you ever did this on camera? Like, so it's some things in the work that's coming and all that. And I appreciate you there. Like I said, you set it off for the ownership aspect of it. And I was just like, because again, we are what we attract. When I started seeing like when I'm looking at my appearance and I'm like, dang, but looking at the other people I'm pretty much associated with, and I'm seeing like, man, we all in the same boat.
Just
And
no, go
and,
finish.
and then like, and because you here, it's like that's when I started being like, okay, well, who's around that I can piggyback off of and see and piggyback off what they do and everything. And you were just the person around. Like, I'm like, like I said, we in the shop talking, and then like you got stuff on the screen. So we'll chop it up about what's on the screen too. And then like get into these type of talks too. And then like, but the basketball aspect of it really made it like, okay, that's one of the things I know for sure that I definitely wanted to get back to. But being out here, I didn't have a group of people I could hit up. So that's why I started being like, Mondays, cool, I'm there.
Right.
So like I super agree with you with what you attract. And most of the time I don't usually say things like that I got working on because I'm a firm believer in like you say things too early, that gives people time to pray against you.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those. So like, so I've been saying some things up, like talking, but it's definitely like what you said. The more where you put your mindset and where you want to be, and I'm like, I'm over here like, what do I want my future to look like? And I always said, even told family members, I said, man, I left Jersey again because I was like, when I look around, nobody has a life that I want, and it's not even the that I want the same exact things. It's just what I define as success.
Mhm.
And like you were successful to me because I say my definition of success, hey, if I can make my own schedule, run my own establishment, take care of my family while doing it, that
That's success.
yeah, that's success to me because then you can still get up and love what you do. Like you don't have to, oh man, I got to do all this. And then like, when you want a vacation, when it's your anniversary, you like, shop gonna be closed. Like you could do that. Like you don't got to ask permission. It's just like, what days we going? And you throw out that text, shop won't be closed.
I remember those days of like trying to get a vacation request approved and knowing I already booked the damn vacation. It's gonna give me these days off and be calling out like, but just the pressure of that is just so unnecessary. Like I understand, corporations gotta be in a certain way, but just like that's just that's just overbearing. You like it. It's just too much for me personally. Yeah, man, you gonna continue to be rewarded because you in a space that you're supposed to be. And when you follow your path in life, when you're doing what you love and you know, just helping people, like it ain't always about us. I mean, it's about us doing what we love, but then what we could do for others and just inspire people.
Yeah.
It ain't always about handing somebody something. Really. Like we think that that's the only way that you could help people. It's like, oh, you need my help to do this specifically. No, like inspiring people,
Right.
is helping them. Being a you know, and the proper example is helping them.
Yeah.
You know, them just seeing you, well, that's inspiring. But yeah, because you doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're gonna continue to be blessed, and you know, the sky is the limit. You know what I mean? It's all what you want.
And that's why I wanted to say that on camera, like what I look at. I know success is subjective to everybody, but that's why I wanted to say like what I view as success and what successful people. It's not just the Hoves and the LeBrons and the Obamas, like as far as like black men. But
I idolize that stuff too much.
yeah, and where I'm like, yo, you can have an establishment like this and still dress nice and take care of your family and still go on trips and vacations. But again, nobody's micromanaging you. Only person that's micromanaging you is Uncle Sam. Like,
Yeah, can't get around Sam.
yeah,
But it's nice to not, you know, have to follow anybody's rules. You know, the business, you know, you have to follow uh what your business requires from you.
yeah, of
You
course.
know, I gotta be open Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah,
95% of the time, you know what I mean? Because that's, you know, with my business,
right.
you know, that's peak, you know, hours for what I do. So,
Yeah.
but it's nothing like, you know, being within power of your, you know, of how you make a living. It's priceless, man.
And I understand for a lot of people, like, you know, it's a lot of risk involved, so people don't want they like the safety of it, which is nothing wrong with, because then like if you know you're working and you got a guaranteed check, and you know, like in your case, at least when it just comes to this, it's the okay, like you said, you know, you gotta have Fridays and Saturdays open to really make, like, you know, because that's when them clientele, especially for getting haircuts, you know, people going out for the night or they going out the weekend and all that, so they getting that done. So so that what was I about to say? So that's one of those things, of course, obviously, but again, that's why I'm asking other people, like I said, other owners, because again, I'm like, yo, we need to. That's the other thing I try to tell people, even music artists. You gotta talk to people who really are pushing the buttons, who's controlling the spot, because people could be like, they be like, yo, I want to come up there and shoot like up here or something. I'm like, hey, you got to contact him, and he tells you, and he's gonna give you, hey, this is what I'm charging, or what it's like the hours and all that. But again, but when you can control more of the narrative for you, and that's why I say it, like when people are telling me like, oh yeah, I own like this establishment, I'm like, oh, you the owner, okay, so you know, it's a lot of things, you know, and that's why I'm like, and we got a lot of like young men that want to be entrepreneurs and all that, and that's why I say I bring people on here like you to speak on, hey, the journey of it, because you may not speak on the starting a clothing brand, but you still know entrepreneurship, which is like, and that's what I say about like a
Working, bro.
and it's like what I say about anything. It's like when we say the music business, the podcast business, or anything, it's like, yo, everything is business. The only difference is what the genre is. But at the end of the day, it's still business. You still got to do everything the same way. You still got to, you know, yep.
Relationships.
You got to keep the things on the books. You got to know where money's going in, where it's coming in, where it's going out. All that, it's like all the same. You still got to build clientele. You still got to go meet, like you said, build relationships. It's all that. It's just a matter of what field you're in. But so
it's great to have relationships, just, period. Like, you want to definitely, if you're in business, you have to network and build relationships with people. And I mean, and even if it's with someone that has absolutely nothing to do with your particular business, still build that relationship with them, because you never know. You never know who they can help,
exactly.
and which will be a benefit to you. And it's just not a, it's as long as building and progressing, like, you'll be fine. It's not about, we got to get out of that mindset of like, oh, I'm only going to help this person because I'm going to get a benefit from it. Like, no, like, just share the knowledge, and like, it'll come back to you and through something else.
Yep. And that's why, like, even when we was discussing about the filmmaker, that I'm like, oh, like when you was like, oh, you might have seen him before. I'm like, I've seen him in here. Like, so it's like those things of just, you never know who knows somebody. And how important is the confidence aspect of your craft and like and entrepreneurship, like from your perspective?
So how important is having confidence?
Yeah, like being confident in what you do.
And you have to, that's why you got to work on yourself. Everybody's not born with just this, with a lot of confidence. And if you're lacking it, you gotta, look within yourself and, uh and find that inner beast or whatever, like, it is that you gotta, like, because it's within all of us. We just don't know how to bring it out. And I struggle with confidence pretty much my whole adult life. Like, seriously.
I'm with you. I'm saying
Struggle, and still do struggle, sometimes, but I'm more confident than ever. And it's showing in every aspect of my life. So you got to do the work. You got to, like, it takes being accountable, and once you're accountable, like, you can start the journey of building some confidence within yourself. And but to get back to the original question, I'm rambling. You have to have confidence. Like, you're not going to be successful if you don't believe in yourself. Like, how it, and people can feel that energy that you're lacking. If you're not confident, like, people can feel that. They can sense that. Like, especially people that are already successful. Like, he not ready. Like, he's not ready. I could tell.
and even sometimes, even if you feel like it, even if you feel like it, but sometimes your energy doesn't come off like it. It can look like it. And I can say, like, one time, this when we would play certain artists, like we'll play artists, like play their music in the beginning of the show back then.
I'll stop it.
All right, yeah.
Sorry. Keep.
No, good. Probably do another like 10 minutes. But oh yeah, like we would play artists in the beginning, and one of the times, like, I looked at the video, like when it came on and the camera's on me, and I'm just kind of like just sitting there, like just in my zone. Like, I know I'm in my zone, but when I look at the camera, I was like, when I watched it back, I was like, man, if I was just a random person and I came across that, I will go right past it, because I'm like, yo, the camera's on and you look like you ain't got no energy. And this is what I said about watching myself. So that's why anytime, like now, like it's been definitely since then, it's like oh no, go right in. I'm going right in, energy, everything, like, just because, again, like when I went back to when I said it was like 5 castmates on this one podcast I looked at, I'm like, yo, the first 7 minutes, y'all literally everybody's looking at their phone. That doesn't make me feel like, yo, you welcome me in, and we're a community I would necessarily want to be in, because it's like, it's almost like the community I'm trying to find myself in is what I try to do. And that's more of the, yo, we ain't always just sitting on our phones. Like, we can actually have a looking eye to eye, have a real conversation. Like, we don't got to be on our phone all day or just talking about what everybody else talk about. We could talk about some real shit too. And that's why, like I said, so anytime, like, it's just with the energy of it, and of so that's why I was like, even when you are confident, sometimes even if you don't look at it, if you just, chilling, sometimes, and we know, like, even on the court, you could just be chilling, but if you don't show it, like, somebody they gonna prey on that, like, so. And I'm just talking about, like, even in the, with anything too, like, so. But as far as, like, with the society and the community we're trying to build, and this is a whole nother conversation we could do a whole nother show on too. But but me and you spoke on brotherhood before. Like, why do you think having a brotherhood is important?
It's definitely important for men, man. Because, especially black men, because of, as we discussed earlier, the environments that we come from. Like, we put so much, we hold so much in, and we don't, a lot of us don't even know how to communicate and express ourselves properly.
Yep.
We need that, bro. Like, you need a brotherhood of men that you could trust and just, share like-minded ideas, or just vent.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A space to just vent, be yourself, like, be your absolute self with, like, not, the immature shit that we grew up doing.
Yeah.
Like, just clowning each other for silly shit.
Yeah. Or
Like,
even walking on eggshells. Like,
no, man, you could really, like, it's rare, but to really find a brotherhood, a group of men that you could, be yourself. Like, that's really all it is. Like, you ain't looking for a group that, you can help me get this job or this, that, or, you know what I mean? Like, opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool if you do have,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
your circle is,
Everybody's a connection. Like,
affiliated with
yep.
certain folks. So, all right, cool. But that's not what you need it for. Like, you need it more so for support, and to be able to maintain that positive. It helps you maintain that positive energy, the positive attitude. Like, if you hanging with, you say you cool with 4 or 5 guys that's all, either doing better than you or doing just as good as you, is you gonna only keep growing. You know what I'm saying? And you'll feel more like, we all don't have this. A lot of people that don't have it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think you'll just feel, better about, I don't know, should I say life? I don't know. I can't think of the word.
That can be one of them. Like, you could definitely feel better about life. But
Yeah, knowing that you have it. But it's hard to find, man. Like, so I say, get a strong woman. It's hard to find, like, because I mean, you have your core friends that you grow up with, but people move away, people grow, some people don't grow.
Yeah.
People still doing the same shit they was doing 10, 20 years
I
ago.
I think that's the worst part of it.
So it's not easy to come by. So if you do come by that, like, or if your friend, your core circle of friends that you grew up with, are y'all all on the same wave, y'all all, growing and building and positive, like, that's great. But, it don't always happen that way. So I always say it's easier to, just have a lot of that support within your partner or whatever. Because it's hard to get it out of people, because everybody living their own lives, and it's hard to, like, come out of your space to get into somebody else's. It's tough, especially if you have a family.
Right. Which is why, again, where where we should be choosing to still be around like-minded people. That's why I said like the lack of growth, the stagnation, I feel like that is the worst part of it. Like, because I feel like we can we can find it if we just, go look in the right places. But again, we gotta, like you kept saying throughout the show, gotta work on yourself though. Like you have to want that for yourself, one, then you gotta work on yourself. And then like, so that's why I said I seen the difference within months just of me, let me just change my outlook and just really see what is out there. And definitely, I was telling my little brother this. I said, yo, don't live like that. I said, man, because I've been making some really good friends in my adult years. And I was like, but the way we come, especially in our society, you think the only real close friends that like you can really have, or people that you really can fuck with heavy, are just the people you grew up with. And sometimes, like you
Because of the
said,
environment
yeah,
you grew up in. You only trust,
yep,
you know, such and such from the block because you know what I mean, you grew up with him from the sandbox, or your homies you went to high school with or whatever. Like,
right,
you know what I mean? You don't just be meeting people and
mm-hmm.
putting your trust into them.
Right, right, and I know that, and that's, of course, that's definitely what it is. That's probably number one. Is just like us, the lack of trust. Because even us, like as positive people, we still deal with, because it's like, yo, until like I know you, I don't know your intentions yet.
Right.
So I don't know what you may be after. I don't know how you might have been, what you've made a scene that I have that you may want just to get, because we've seen people go far. And like, some people will go far. It's like when some people like it's people I know that they got married to people just because they know they would get money. For one, if this person's bad health kills them. And I was like, yo, if I said literally, if you're willing to go marry and wait around for that, I said that shows me how far people really will go. Like just to be a piece of shit. They just to be a piece, and I'm just too much like, man, I gotta answer to God one day.
That's
And
a broken person.
yeah.
Because it's easier. The opportunity that you think you're gonna get from, someone else is you could spend that energy on that time, because time it's about the time. Like that's another thing with life. Like it's about time is valuable. So
Right.
the time that you wasting for somebody to a situation like that, you could be spending that time on bettering just bettering yourself,
Or go be with somebody you really would want to be.
like and whatever opportunity you think you're gonna get from being with that person, like you create that for yourself.
Exactly.
Create that for yourself. Like we gotta get out of that crabs in the barrel mentality, man. Like thinking somebody owe us something, or we gotta, always looking at people as opportunities. Like,
Yep. And so one last question for this, and like we'll end it with this. If when you look at something like Brotherhood, going back to that, what would be like the three principles like you would want that Brotherhood to stand on? Even if it's like the way you keep your friendships and everything, like what are those three principles?
respect, trust, um, definitely loyalty.
I would probably put loyalty with trust. I would probably
Yeah,
want to say probably even respect too.
kind
Like,
of the same, but like,
mm-hmm.
like I got friends that I respect. But I may not trust them, and it's not like, you know, yeah, it's not to be disrespectful saying I don't trust you. I just don't trust you because of how you move. Just how you move, or just or what you lack. It's nothing personal. It's not like I don't trust him to do something grimy to you. No, it's just like I wouldn't trust you in certain situations because I see you lacking in some areas. And it's no knock against them. It's just that's just being honest.
And sometimes it could be just what I necessarily trust you with. I may trust you around my woman, but I may not trust you around my money. Like it's
Right.
sometimes it's like people, and like you say, I think that goes to sometimes what you lack. You want a woman yourself, but you gonna go to your homie's girl. Like, why you need to do that? You lacking in money, so you gonna steal money if it's there. So I did. I agree with that.
I would say, you know, just integrity.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like that's hard to come by, but just in the brotherhood, I would expect integrity, respect, and just and trust. Yeah, I mean, like they all connected.
Yeah, yeah. I would say loyalty, protection,
Right, right.
and
I think the loyalty, the protection could fall into the loyalty.
and the morality. And why I say protection is because sometimes, like, you know, I'm one of those. I'm not just gonna let somebody, like, if you my homie, like, I'm not just gonna let somebody pop shit about you, or like, or they just say all this and it's like a hold up, like, and like have a conversation with that person, like, because again, I'm like, yo, again, if we're talking like my brother's keeper, it's still like a yo, I will hope you would do the same thing for me, especially if it's some information was wrong. I'm like, they'd be like, yo, Derrick, he don't own no shop, like he just be faking or something like that. And be like, bro, I go, like, I'm not just one of them that be like, yo, I be there. Like, it's like, like, so, but it's just like, and that's just an example because things like that happen. And I understand. So, and I say protection is like, because sometimes, like, you know, again, like just those aspects, like I can trust you to defend me or be there for me in a lot of ways. Like, so no matter what, because, and sometimes, like you said, people may lack in other areas. I might can call you up to, yo, these things at my house, like, and I need some heads over here. And then, like, they can show up for that. But then you like, yo, uh I just got this major accomplishment and all that. And then, like, it's gonna be some well respected people in there. And then it's like
They won't come to that.
yeah, like, cause then sometimes, like,
How you ready to air people out, but you won't come for a positive opportunity? That's crazy.
yeah. The only thing I may say is, sometimes
It's
that's
crazy.
but I think
People actually are like that. That's crazy.
But I think it's like one of the things you said. It's like what to trust people with. I can trust you can show up for this, but I don't know about this because
Right, right.
on the street aspect, that's gonna scare a lot of people in this room. So it's still like sometimes like I can understand like you just know where to keep people. But that's why with me, I'm like, yo, if it's just a loyalty factor, like sometimes I don't care as long as like, you ain't doing nothing wrong out there. And I'm saying to people too, like you ain't touching kids, you ain't beating women, you ain't doing none of that. Like, and but if you just, you going about the way you do your life, I'm like, yo, as long as like we keep a loyalty aspect and it's like every time I see you, it's respect and we have a certain respect when we speak on each other or like, or to each other. All right, that you can have my loyalty because I can still trust you to, that you're a decent person. I may not trust because we just not in those or just that close to where I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna call you up if some shit going down. No. But again, like I think it's just that awareness. We gotta know who's who and like who's there. So, but again, like, but none of us are like we're past that lifestyle. So it's like, it's literally if shit like that happens, it could be a whole different type of situation than when you're young. Like, so, that's when, like, so in this case, like, any danger is like, okay, that means it came to me. So now you're going to do it a different way just as a grown man and a family man. But it's like, but I agree with that. But I would say loyalty, protection, integrity, because you got to stand on something.
Yeah.
And we just more from that time where we still seen that, like, I'm like, yo, you stand on something. That's why I say like, yo, you can't be touching on kids. You can't be beating women. You gotta like you need to be taking care of your kids. Like we need to it's certain things like, and I'm definitely one of them. If I hear how you talk about your best friend and like you could talk about them in the mud, I will never really want to be friends with you.
Right.
Like
They gonna more than likely they gonna handle you the same way.
exactly. But is there anything else you want to say? Any upcoming things like you want to let be known or?
For those who are interested in investing, me and my wife came across a great opportunity. It's called DeFi assets. It's investing cryptocurrency. It's changed our lives. It's given us leverage during the time where this economy has been, pretty much crazy for everybody. Groceries and all of that stuff, gas, everything just been crazy for the last couple years. It's changed our lives. It's given us leverage. It's given us just a great amount of income. So it's a great opportunity. I don't know if I could give you the link or something to it. And
Yeah, put it there.
Yeah, he'll put the link in. What would you say? Put it like right there. He gonna put the link and the information, DeFi assets, and you could come to my page. My wife's page is Retired with Abundance. I'm gonna let y'all figure out how to spell that. But it's Retired with Abundance together. And that's pretty much it. So it's a great opportunity in life. If you do not shoot shots, you can't make shots if you don't shoot shots. So you have to take risks and invest your money, learn how to make your money work for you. You know what I mean? So like the hell with all that OT and all of that stuff. We gotta learn how to make money work for us.
And on that note, this is King Status Podcast. We'll probably bring y'all on to talk about it sometime soon in the near future, like to really break it down. But we thank you for tuning in. Thank you, bro, for coming back on the show. And we'll most likely do this again too. But thank y'all for tuning in to the King Status Podcast. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, nobody can fit the crown that's meant for you. Mr. Morty King. See you later.